To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. I probably had COVID like 74 times. I have no clue, and I don't care.
Everybody liked Blanche. Because Blanche was a pig who took it in the ass.
Did you smell your poop? Did you learn anything? Did you read about the dog story?
Why the f*** is my ex-girlfriend, who I despise, calling me?
A lot to blame on the news. It's a lot to blame on Anthony Fauci, that Italian leprechaun.
Almost like it never existed, but it fucking did. So do me a favor, go yourself.
Jay here, PositiveSarcasm.com, recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio. Like, subscribe, share, donate. PositiveSarcasm.com/donate. Any amount's appreciated. Where can you like and subscribe to? I'll let you know in a minute. First, we got to talk about something. This is the elephant in the room that has basically, this podcast is all about leaving YouTube, at least the podcast version, the podcast channel. Now, let's just break this down, okay? Start from the very, very beginning. I received a notification in my YouTube settings that one of my episodes was pulled due to the misinformation policy. Okay, so where is that data? Oh, I think I pretty much... Oh, I wonder if I have it. Let me see something here. Did I copy that? No, I got a screenshot of it. Okay. Got it. All right, cool. All right. That an episode of mine. Let me see here. Where are we at? Picture. There we go. Okay. So I got a community guideline warning that my content was removed due to a violation of the community guidelines. It was the first time, so the account wasn't affected. However, I was warned once. The warning will remain on my channel. If it happens again, your channel will get a community guideline strike. You won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for 1 week. The content that was removed was from the September... The warning was on September 5th. The Positive Sarcasm Podcast, it was about ivermectin peer-reviewed. The policy I violated, apparently, was medical misinformation. I submitted the appeal the night, about 2 nights ago. The morning of the morning that I made the appeal, I made the appeal at night. That morning, the appeal was rejected. I always told myself that I was not going to put up with this shit. So that's why I did the immediate appeal. This is one of the reasons, this is the reason I left TikTok, because my shit was getting pulled. It's one of the reasons I left Twitter, that my shit was getting pulled. I'm not gonna stand for it. Either it's all okay or it's none of it's okay. So that's what the segment. It was about a peer-reviewed article that was later corrected. So they did claim corrections within the article, but I looked at the corrections that they made due to, in my opinion, based on recent issues with stemming from the peer-reviewed community and the recent wokeness in some of the medical journals that has been going on. If you want to know more about this, you can go and check Through the Looking Glass, the Dark Horse podcast with Brett Weinstein and Heather Hying. So I stand behind the idea of the study. Okay. Now, what does these guidelines, what are they based on? So based on, now, there are, where does YouTube get its medical misinformation policy? Where does it contradict local? It contradicts local health authorities. So they use, apparently, the LHA, which is the local health authorities, or the World Health Organization, a institute that I absolutely do not trust whatsoever. And a lot of people don't either. This is specifically about the pandemic and the medical. This policy is specifically about COVID-19. Nothing else. And it's about treatment, prevention, diagnosis, transmission, and it even lists in the treatment misinformation area specific claims about drugs that I haven't mentioned and drugs that I have mentioned. Claims and categorical claims about these being effective treatments, and then of course, pandemic denial, other things like that. But they got a whole thing about it. See, treatment misinformation, prevention misinformation, diagnostic misinformation, transmission misinformation, content that denies the existence, examples, educational, documentary, or scientific or artistic content. We may allow content that violates the misinformation policy, noted on this page, if that content includes additional context in the video, audio, title, or description. This is not a pass to promote misinformation. Additional context may include countervailing views from local health authorities or medical experts. We may also make exceptions if the purpose of the content is to condemn, dispute, or satirize misinformation that violates our policies. We also may make exceptions for content showing an open public forum like a protest or public hearing, provided the content does not aim to promote misinformation that violates our policies, even though the Pierre Corey thing that he did with Congress was shut down by YouTube, which is exactly what they're talking about. All I did was talk about a peer-reviewed article, and I put the link in the description to the peer-reviewed article, and I do consent that there was corrections made. However, I dispute those consents because I don't believe there's a lot of significant validity in those. All it does is really try to attack the character of the people who pushed the study, and I also think that these peer reviews right now, the people who are doing a lot of the peer reviews aren't exactly operating within our best interest or operating with all the proper information. But okay, fine. Not a battle I can. Is it a battle I can fight? Well, I already threw my sword into the ring and I lost. All right. Well, what? I've already spoken about this. I appealed it. The appeal was denied. Now, that means that content's gone. I cannot download it from YouTube. I cannot pull it from YouTube or anything. However, do I have this information elsewhere? Absolutely. It's, of course, on my Rumble channel. So, and it's on my audio version of the podcast. However, since this has now happened, it will happen again. If it happens again, they will restrict my channel. If it happens a third time, they will terminate my channel and delete everything on it. So this is essentially, this right here, this warning, is a canary in the coal mine for the podcast as it exists on YouTube. So, my appeal was denied. So the episode only exists on Facebook and on Rumble. So, and you know what? Sadly, this shitty little podcast, unlike the audio version of it, no traction on YouTube at all. None. No traction on YouTube whatsoever. Maybe it's because it's a shitty little podcast or whatever reasons, but I won't make any claims. All I know is it's completely different when you look at the RSS feed for the audio version compared to what's going on YouTube. And I literally just started posting to Rumble, so I don't have a community there. But that being said, no traction on YouTube at all. What's the reason for staying? But that begs the question. Does the podcast leave YouTube? Yes, absolutely, and effective immediately. This is the last version of the podcast I will air on YouTube. This will be the last episode I ever air on YouTube. I will leave this up as the top video on the channel. I will leave it as the latest video on this on the YouTube channel. And then that I will put in the about that I will officially moving to Rumble, and all the content you can find over there. That's it. I will leave whatever content I put up on YouTube up, and the other two channels will not be affected. They will stay as they are because they're more designed for YouTube. The concept channel is designed for YouTube, and the reaction channel is designed for YouTube. But as far as this channel, they're not fans of it, and I'm not fans of them for doing what they did. But it's a private company. I guess they can do what they want, and this is my podcast, and I'm free. Am I free to leave? Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm already in the process of downloading and storing my entire video library and prepping it for the transfer. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes. Is it necessary? Abso-fucking-lutely. But like I said, they are preparing. Once it happens once, it's a corporate environment. This will happen again. It says it right here. If your content violates this policy, we'll remove the content and send you an email to let you know. If this is your first time violating it, you'll likely get a warning with no penalty to your channel. If it's not, we may issue a strike against your channel. If you get 3 strikes within 90 days, your channel will be terminated. We may terminate your channel or account for repeated violations of community guidelines. We may also terminate your channel or account after a single case or severe abuse when the channel is dedicated to the policy diet violation. They are literally telling you that you cannot make claims about specific, even if you put, I think even prevent misinformation, specific certain drugs. I can imagine what this shit looked like in the very beginning of the pandemic when they were just banning everybody and blocking any talk of some of these drugs. It's absolutely asinine. But I'm not going to waste my time with this. I'm not beholden to YouTube. I'm not going to fucking cry over it. But I am going to make my statement very, very clear. My stuff does not get censored. If my stuff gets censored, I leave the platform. Okay? Now, I have not violated anything on... Like, I've had no issues with Facebook, and I've had no issues with Instagram. But I have had I have issues with Twitter, so I left many, many years ago. TikTok, I didn't trust from the very start, and I saw their user end policy, and it's a fucking nightmare. And on top of that, yeah, they were blocking content that was critical of China. So I immediately deleted the whole thing, and I was getting massive traction. I was starting to get a lot of traction on TikTok. But like I said, I have to stand by my values. My values were they're starting to block my content. This has to stop. I'm not putting up with it because I'm not going to put out 100 podcasts and find out that 10 of them were fucking deleted. We're not doing that. No other platform, none of the audio platforms have said to me in any way, shape, or form that you can't post this shit. None of them. I've had some requests from Spotify to remove some of the music that goes at the end of my audio versions, but that's because it's commercial music. Okay. So they never said anything. It's not like, and plus I was not like I was making claims about monkey piss curing AIDS. Never went that far. I was talking about a peer-reviewed article about a highly sensitive subject. Am I allowed to do that? And I made some claims based on my opinion. Okay. One fucking video, one fucking segment, and all of a sudden their tits are in a ruffle. Absolutely stupid. So, within the next 30 days. Now, am I going to continue to podcast regularly? Yes. But it is official that this will be the last one on YouTube. And then going forward, it'll be on Facebook.com/POS Sarcasm and Rumble @Positive Sarcasm. And, of course, anywhere audio version, if you're audio version only, go to the audio version, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where podcasts are available. If you want to just do the audio version, you can do that. No questions asked, no issues whatsoever with any of them. But I'm not going to sit here and let people tell me what I can and cannot say, whether it's right or wrong. If you think I'm harming people, believe me, there are actually horrible people, in my opinion, that did a lot worse, and they were in some of the highest positions of power, and they did actual damage to society that is, quite frankly, irreversible. Nothing they said has been censored because they're so-called experts, and they've done far more damage than you could ever consider me doing. So, no traction, and I also, in the back of my mind, it's like, what can I say on YouTube? Like that idea of self-censorship, that is in the back of my mind. It's like, if I say this, are they gonna say something to me? And it's like, okay, well, all right, that's the end of that. We're not gonna play that game anymore. Even if we were playing that game, I'm getting off this. And I'm letting you guys know this is where I'm going. This is where you can find me. And these are my reasons for doing it. You don't let me post my stuff, I'm not going to come to your platform anymore. You can't use my data. Sorry. You're only going to get me in these two avenues now. But I'm curious to see what lengths they're going to go to next. What else are they going to censor? Because usually this doesn't happen just once. It can't just happen just once. I'm sure there's going to be something else that pops up that's going to get manually reviewed. And like I said, this was reviewed very quickly. This was rejected almost immediately. Almost makes me feel like this isn't genuine. Now, I'm glad for these moments, though, because it's like, I'm not beholden to YouTube. They don't bread my butter. I don't give a shit. So, I'm not giving anything up. I'm definitely not giving up my value system. I'm going through the information as I see it, as it was presented to me at that time, and giving you the information, and even not just giving you the link to the article, but showing it to you on the actual screen by clicking this second monitor button, so you could see everything that I'm seeing, everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm questioning. It's right fucking there. I give you the articles, I give you the links, sometimes I even give you the goddamn author. All right there. Here it is. Here's the fucking article right here from Curious. Here's all the people that were associated with it. Here's the correction. This corrects this article. In volume 14, blah, blah, blah. And here's the comments underneath it, blah, 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 blah. There it all is. But the corrections may not be correct. The corrections also may be misleading. But hey, you know what? I'm not going to argue it, and I'm not going to claim it. I'm simply just going to acknowledge the fact that YouTube doesn't want me to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about it on YouTube. I'm going to go talk about it on Rumble. And that is that. I'm not going to do any Q&A this week. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to announce my intention and go back to what I was doing and get the fuck out of here. Okay? Thank you very much, YouTube. It's been a hell of a run, but I think we're done here. I'll pick up the check and head out the door, but no second date. In the meantime, you can find me on Instagram at @positive_sarcasm. You can find this video and everything else Positive Sarcasm on my Facebook channel. You can email me directly, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. You can go directly to my website, questions, concerns, comments. You can contact me there. You can support this podcast and many other things by going to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. And, of course, you can subscribe to my Rumble channel at Positive Sarcasm. And you can also find me on Minds. You can find me on Gab AI. But just try to look for me, and I will let you know if there's any updates. Also, I'm working on a couple blogs, and I just opened a Substack account. So we'll see how I use that. I will let you know when the Substack is actually filled with content, and I'll give you the link for it. Okay? Good. We're done here. Thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing, and I'll talk to you all on Rumble, recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation. Deuces.